Hey everybody, thanks so much for clicking on this video. Before we get started, two quick things. One, I don't know what's going on with the lighting in my camera today. Every time I move, it like shifts brightness. So sorry if that's distracting. I've spent way too long trying to fix it and I don't know how. Second of all, this video is not so scripted or directed of a focus as I usually have. I just wanted to give you guys a quick check-in on what's going on in my life, like I did back in this video up here. If you are down for that kind of content, welcome, thanks for staying. And if you're not, that's totally okay. And I will see you next Monday with a more focused video. So even though it's quarantine and I'm essentially stuck in my apartment 24/7, I've been managing to keep pretty busy the last couple weeks. Some of you saw that I traveled to California for my sister's wedding a few weeks ago, and in the meantime, I've also had the chance to catch up with a few friends from out of the area. Don't worry, I'm still doing my best to social distance. I'm not going to like a bunch of parties or anything, but I think like all of you, I've definitely been needing some kind of social interaction. So I've been trying to find a healthy balance between sanity and community safety. I've also been going out to exercise more recently, and by exercise I mean go on long walks because that's really the only exercise I can regularly do that I enjoy. I also enjoy kayaking and indoor rock climbing, but more expensive and not as easily accessible. Today I went to something called the Shaw Nature Reserve, which to be honest, I'm not going back to again. It was a little too hostile to human presence for me, with a lot of spider webs and spiders that you were just walking right through, so not as much my jam, but I did enjoy and do enjoy going to the botanical gardens, and the zoo just opened up, and the zoo has a lot of hills, so my calves were like not very happy with me the couple days after I walked around there for an hour. I've also been watching lots of movies, some better than others. Today I watched 13th, which is a documentary that came out, I want to say 4 years ago, about systemic racism and how it relates to the current problem of mass incarceration in our country. It's a great documentary. I have learned a lot from it. I definitely encourage you to watch it, and also to watch it with a critical eye. I remember when I first saw it being wowed by all the information I had never heard before, and for that reason I think everyone should watch it, but it's presented in such a matter-of-fact format that I think contributes to what I see as an issue in cancel culture today, of if you disagree with anything it says about racism or the justice system, then you're racist and bad and your opinion isn't worth anything. It's just an interesting conversation that I enjoy talking about, but also, if I'm totally honest, feel nervous expressing my opinion on a lot of the time, and I'm trying to overcome that, because I think that the only way to solve these problems is for people to get out of their comfort zones and express their honest opinions with a willingness to learn from different perspectives of the people around them. I have obviously been participating in an internship with the Delaware Attorney General this summer. Now, for confidentiality purposes, I am not going to be sharing pretty much anything that I'm doing with them. I just want to be over the top careful to not breach that for my own career purposes and also for respect of the job that I'm doing. But I do have a video coming in a couple weeks where I discuss what this summer job experience is like with one of my friends from law school. So I hope that you keep your eye out for that. To give you a sneak peek of that conversation, overall I'd say that the internship experience has been different than expected and difficult in ways that you could probably guess given the remote version of it. But this last week especially, I feel like we got more into a groove and routine. I started understanding what was expected of me and how I could make it work for my mindset being at home. Oh my gosh, my foot is so asleep right now. I don't know why I sat that way. I don't know why I didn't mention this earlier, but I intentionally did not clean up the background of this video because I'm trying to be honest when I do these check-ins, which is not that often, but this is what my apartment looks like right now. Pretty much everywhere there's stuff laying on the ground, not put away because I don't have the mental capacity to figure out organization right now. I ordered some really good food. That's the bag. The food is in the refrigerator, but I haven't thrown away the bag that it came in yet. I found an old video recorder that my mother stole from me. And I watched a lot of the old videos on it the other day. Oh, that reminds me. This is a great story of God's provision and blessing that I'm so grateful for and can't wait to tell you about because He is amazing. So my computer that I use every day for the last 5 years is good. It's the computer that I edit these videos on, that I take notes for class on, that you've seen screenshots from. It's everything that I do every day is on that computer. It's actually right there. And I'm very grateful to have it. It's a good machine and has been reliable for a pretty long time. But the last couple months, especially when we moved to remote learning back in March, it has started to have moments, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, where it just doesn't work for a little longer than is comfortable. Like it just turns off. And you can't turn it back on for like 2 minutes. Or the battery is at like 18 and all of a sudden it's dead. So stuff like that makes me nervous. It hasn't terribly interfered with anything I've done yet, but because I still don't know what the fall is going to look like for law school, we haven't registered for classes, we don't even know if we're going to be in person, online, like literally we know nothing at this point, which is very stressful because it's almost July. So with that in mind, I applied for COVID relief funding through the school. They had a big grant that they asked students to apply for different amounts for pandemic related things and costs. And even though I did not need a new computer, I could have done with this one. I was definitely going to be purchasing a computer next year to replace this one anyway. And I'm nervous that if we go into online learning, this thing is going to shut down and I won't be able to get it back on. And that would just not be a good situation. I don't need that added stress in my life. So I applied for some funding. They were very generous and gave me about $500 to spend towards a new computer. Now, on top of that, I somehow qualify for California unemployment insurance and payments. So that's crazy. I promise I didn't lie about anything on the forms I filled out. I said I'm a student. I said I live in Missouri. I said that I have an internship that's unpaid. And they said, here's $700. And guess how much a new, well, refurbished, but basically new Mac laptop from 2020 costs? $1,200, which is a lot of money, but also happens to be the exact amount of 700 plus 500. Both funds that I did not expect to receive or qualify for. And that was a huge praise that God provided that money so that I could have a new computer and have one less thing to stress about during this crazy pandemic. And I fully acknowledge that these are very much first world problems. I have said this before, I will say it again. I have it pretty great in the pandemic. I have a place to live. I don't have a lot of financial concerns. I do have a computer that works. I have a phone that works both most of the time. I have plenty of food. I have a family that cares about me. I have friends in the area. I'm good. But that doesn't mean that I don't have anything that ever stresses me out or worries me. And God just continues to be so good in providing for even those small little needs and worries. I was gonna show you my computer, but I'm attached to this mic and I don't know if it's gonna extend. Let's see. Okay, we got it. So this is my new computer. I guess it goes that way. It looks pretty much exactly like my other one. It does feel a little heavier, and it's a darker gray than the light silver, I guess. But it was funny, my dad asked, like, how different is this computer really? And it's not that different. It's just everything is a little bit better, you know? Like the speakers are a little bit better. The screen is a little bit sharper. It runs a little bit faster, has a little bit more storage. It's just an upgrade that I feel confident in relying on for the next couple years. So, like I said, huge praise, big fan of that. Okay, what else? I went shoe shopping, got lots of new shoes, replaced like all my shoes, and I feel justified in doing that. Here is why. In the last couple of years, I have really upped my boot game. I have all the kinds of boots that I can imagine, and you guys know I enjoy having clothes that just look nice together. It makes me happy. I don't spend money that should be going to like my loans or my rent or anything. This is money that I spend in clothes that I've earned or been given for like a present or something. All my sandals are trash. All my tennis shoes are super old and stinky and falling apart. And I only really had 2 pairs of shoes that I could wear to court, both of which are falling apart. So I also don't like shoe shopping. I like getting new clothes, but I don't really like shopping for them, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to get it all out of the way so I didn't have to go shoe shopping for another like 6 years. So I bought lots of new shoes. They're very cute and comfortable. I guess this is an update. I don't know whether or not I talked about this before, but I was thinking about potentially going to Delaware for the second half of the summer if things started opening up. It looks like that is not happening, so I will be in St. Louis for the rest of the summer until I go back home to visit my family for a week in August. Of course, I wish that I could have had the summer that I originally planned and was looking forward to, with traveling around the East Coast and working in Delaware, getting to know the office and the people that are there. But I'm really grateful for my employers, supervisors, and the other attorneys in the office who have made themselves over the top available to me to answer my questions, to train me in different things, to assign me interesting projects. It has still been a really positive experience, even though it's not turning out the way that I had hoped. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. I really don't have anything else to talk about. But I guess for the most part, I'm doing pretty good. And there's not a lot I can complain about. There's plenty of things that I can be excited about. And one of those things is all of you that I get to talk to every single week and see your great comments and see the videos that you like and don't like. Speaking of which, I doubt that if you watch this video, you are one of these people, but just in case you are, if you're somebody who dislikes one of my videos, that's fine. Thank you for your input. But I don't really know what you dislike. I would love to hear constructive criticism because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just filming on my phone and editing in iMovie and uploading, and sometimes people watch it. So as always, if you have input as far as topics you'd like me to address, different ways to edit the video, anything, feel free to tell me in the comments below, or you can DM me on Instagram. I really don't care. Either way is fine. I just really appreciate the time that it takes for you guys to communicate with me, whether it's positive, negative, or somewhere in between. That being said, please do leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought of this video, and you can also do that with a like or dislike button. Either way, I hope that you subscribe, and I will see you next Monday. Until then, God bless.